Hi, Prisha.
Hi.
We're here today. Prisha had a great idea that she wanted to hear a little bit more about school psychology and what I do here as the school psychologist at Chadds Ford Elementary. So Prisha has written a few really great questions to ask. So we're going to get started with those.
So what makes you different from a guidance counselor?
That's a great question. There is some overlap in the responsibilities of a school counselor and a school psychologist. Ms. Campanero and I do some of the same things in terms of work with children who are having big feelings, strategies for big feelings. But what separates us and how my role is different from a school counselor is that I work individually with students, figuring out their strengths and their needs so that we can figure out the best plan for them educationally so we can make sure that we're doing all we can for students to be successful here at school.
Wow, that's really cool. What does a psychologist do?
That's a great question, too. There are a lot of different kinds of psychologists, but at its core, psychology is really about figuring out feelings and figuring out strategies for when we're having different kinds of feelings. As a school psychologist, it's a little bit different because I work primarily in educationally, figuring out academic and social emotional strengths and needs and working to figure out the best ways to match those strengths and needs for the student.
How is your role in the school important?
My role in the school is important because I work closely with teachers and work in teams to figure out the best way to support students in terms of the strengths and needs that we talked about, really helping the teachers to look through their data and collect data of my own, and that way we can make sure that every student in the school is successful.
Nice. What are your specific responsibilities for the school?
Yeah. So day to day, it can look different. Some of the specific responsibilities include working with students who might be having big feelings, identifying coping strategies with them. I also do have students who I do individual school-based counseling with. And then the largest part of my role is working individually with those with students, pulling them into my room and doing activities and assessments to figure out kind of how their brain works, how they learn the best, and figure out what we need to do for those students in the school setting to support them. Do they need more from us? Do they need a higher level instruction? Do they need, if they're having difficulty, how can we address those areas of difficulty?
So what has been your impact for this school?
I have the impact that I've had is working closely as a team with the teachers and other school staff to provide important data and information on students so that we can really guide their educational programming in the best way that we can.
So what is a doctorate degree? Because I see you have a doctor in your name. So
Yeah. A doctorate degree is a degree of higher education. So when you finish high school, some people choose to go on to college. And then after college, you can continue on to a higher education, like post-college education. And there are different degrees that you can get, a master's or a doctorate, which is kind of the highest level a degree that you can get in an area. So my doctorate is in school psychology.
What encouraged you to get your school psychologist doctorate degree?
To get my doctorate. So when I was in my program, my school psychology program, I felt like after I was when I was finished, I felt like there were still things that I really wanted to know. It felt like I really wanted to hone my skills deeper. And so I wanted to continue to take classes and get my doctorate degree in school psychology. It was also a good time in my life because I didn't have children yet. I have 2 elementary age children now. So this was before I had my children, and I had more free time to be able to take the classes while I was working.
While you were getting your degree, where did you study?
I studied at it's called the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine. It's actually a medical school, but they do have programs in school psychology and also clinical psychology at the medical school.
What persuaded you to persuaded you to becoming a psychologist?
So when I was young, I always knew that I wanted to work with kids, and I knew that I wanted to work in education. When I was young, I used to come home from elementary school and play teacher in my bedroom. I had a chalkboard, and I would teach my stuffed animals, and that's what I did for fun after school. And then in college, I started to take courses on psychology. And when I found out about school psychology, it felt like such a great combination of psychology and education and working in the school setting and working with young children. So I knew right away that that would be something that I would like to do. And it really combined my love for working with young children and education and psychology all together.
Uh, what do you like about being a psychologist?
I love being a psychologist because I get to work with a lot of kids. I've worked with a lot of kids here at Chadsford Elementary, and it's so fun to get to know so many of the kids here at the school. And I get to work with every teacher in every grade level, which is really cool. I work closely with all teachers, and I've gotten to know them and build relationships with them, and that's been exciting because I get to know really most people in the school, which is really cool.
Lastly, is there anything you would like to say to people who are watching right now?
Sure. I would just like to say that if you find yourself working with me, there's nothing to be worried about. We're going to do some activities together. We're going to figure out strengths and needs, and we're just going to make sure that we know that we're doing the best things to support you here at school. And I'd also like to say thank you to you, Prisha, because this has been really fun. And I think it's really cool that you've shown an interest in school psychology and what I do here at the school. So thank you for this
You're
opportunity.
welcome.